So back in 2015 to 2020s, like those years, there was a book and TV show called Game of Thrones. It was really popular, and one of the main characters was a guy named Jon Snow. But as it turns out, that wasn't the really first Jon Snow. The one that sort of became famous is a guy named Jon Snow, who was the guy that discovered how cholera was being transmitted, or more specifically, while he didn't find the germs, he was the guy that sort of came up with the idea that maybe people are getting sick with this cholera thing by drinking water that's contaminated rather than other ways of transmission that were popular at that time. So it all came about, or one of the main ways that he became famous is something called the 1854 Broad Street cholera outbreak. And now this is Broad Street, or what has become known as Broadwick Street. And nicely, there's a Jon Snow saloon right there. But on this street, there was a cholera epidemic that just sort of struck suddenly, with 616 people dying all within a few days on this street. And he kind of drew a map of the people that were dying, and the map kind of looked like this. And if you see the circle that I drew, it sort of starts to look like a circle, and right in the middle of that circle is a pump, and a pump is where people used to get water. The water came to the pumps from the Thames River, and different water companies would bring water there, but it wasn't very clean. There was a lot of problem back then with sewage, and this street is actually the Soho, and the Soho got really crowded really fast, and the sewage system from London hadn't come this far yet. And so what people were having is septic water and sewage under their floorboards, under their houses. And one of the pumps that would bring water was the one that was called on Broad Street, so it became known as the Broad Street pump, was situated right here where this reddish granite is. As describes. Now they're fixing the road again, so they're going to put the pump back here. But it's sort of interesting because what he was able to do is to describe how people get sick, not via breathing bad air, but actually through the fecal oral route, which was a very distasteful way for people to think about getting sick. But anyway, that sort of led to epidemiology, which led to public health, and it became like a pivotal moment in health history. And that's that.